Hey. Hope everybody's doing good. Carl Bryan coming at you. Hope you guys are doing great. So I'm here with my boy Kenya Pat. Kenya Pat, what's happening, buddy? What's going on?
Hey, I'll tell you a little Kenya anecdote that when I came to Kenya, I did not know that I would have a rash over half my body.
Must be enjoyable. That sounds amazing. You having a great week?
It was I think it's allergy to chili and the chocolate, chili chocolate. Very good tasting, but yeah. The doctor is wondering.
Chili in chocolate?
Chili chocolate. I'm going to bring you some. It is like you take a bite of it,
awesome.
And it's like this instant sweet, and then your mouth goes on fire. It's like, oh my gosh, this is so good. But I ate too much of it. I am paying the price.
There you go. I've never heard of chili and chocolate. That doesn't sound like the natural combo, but that's not like potatoes and gravy for me, if I'm honest with you. But hey, what the hell? But I do love chili and I love chocolate. So just like milk chocolate, or just like dark black chocolate or whatever.
It's like a dark, but it's just got some chili oil in it, and it's got quite a bite. So anyway, maybe I'll give it to people I'm not friends with and see what happens to them.
Yeah, exactly. Did your wife have some? Because she didn't get the rash. Did she have any of that or no?
Carl, you don't know me. I'm too much of a pig. It's like, here,
yeah, you ate it all.
I'll take the
rest. There you go. All right, yeah. We love it. Well, there you go, folks. Be careful with chili and chocolate in the same candy bar. So you end up all rashed up. Mexican mole, Mark Reed. There we go. Okay, Pat. So there's a few things we're going to go over, but we got a whole heap of requests to go over the group coaching software. I'm thinking, if it's okay with you, or if you agree, unless you got something else you want to go over first. But I was thinking we should just, for anybody that was on the last call, we're going to rehash the group coaching. What do you think, Pat? Is that a good place to start?
Yeah, let's do that, and maybe people might have some questions around it. I do want to say though that like this has been on my desk for a week. I had a meeting with the boys again today. The boys being William, Calvin mainly being the guy who's been building this, and James as well. Met with them. The more we look at it, the more we go, oh, can you please change that before we release it, and like little key things. So that's why it's taking a bit longer. It's that last 5%, is dragging on. And I think I'm not even sure that the changes I've requested will be updated today on the software I show you, but I think you can get an idea of it. Is that fair? We get a glimpse of.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Just give everybody a little bit of an overview. We go similar to what we did on Tuesday, but just a little a gloss over. And if guys, what you're looking at, this is, like Pat just said, not complete. If you go into your software, you're not going to have that group coaching button. In fact, I don't even have the group coaching button. So Pat's got it there. You click it, and now this isn't going to be live. This is going to be live very shortly. Very shortly. You'll be able to, well, actually, the certified guys will be beta testing it, and then you will be able to then request it if you so choose. But what we're looking at is not live yet, but well and truly on its way. We'd love any feedback. And of course, we want to wet your whistle as to some of the magic that's coming. So, yeah, Pat, could you give us on behalf of all the folks, you would whip us through?
Just want to back up here a bit. Yeah, and I think we'll even be able to get it to the beta testers next week. And I'll have to build some training for them around it. Even as I've looked at this, there's some changes that have been made that aren't live on even my site yet. But so basically, you'll come in, you'll see the different groups that you'll have access to. You'll be able to create new groups, and you'll be able to put a price on your group and all those things, your Zoom link, all those things. Everything's going to integrate automatically. This will be we'll have basically, I think, actually 6 different groups available. Let me just back up to that because I'm only showing 5 here. One is the LPW group. This will be a group that If you want to bring people into group coaching and get paid for it, but you don't have time to do group coaching, or your group, your reach is so small, maybe you could only get 1 or 2 members and no one wants to be in a group of 1 or 2 people, we'll let you put them in our group. You'll keep all the money for that. And, you know, we're going to be we're not going to be coming in saying, hey, it's Carl and Pat and Adrian. It'll be like, we're coming in on your behalf. So we are not trying to steal your clients, of course. That'll be that 50-week series. You can also put them in your own 50-week group. There'll be a 14-week foundational strategies, a 14-week more leads group, a 12-week more conversions group, and a 10-week more transactions and profits group. So it totals 50 weeks. You'll have 6 options. To give you an idea, like from a coach's point of view, Carl, I think we got a lot of feedback on your end there, Carl.
Oh, sorry, buddy.
Yeah. So here we have like an overview video that you will be able to watch. I think it's just 7 or 8 minutes. This one's actually 11. So we have a video. It talks about what the group's about, the benefits here. You'll have a place to put in your initial meeting date, the day, the time zone, your price, their meeting URL. And then you'll see who your members are. You can add members as well. And this is the 50-week group. So you can see we've got these 50 beautifully designed PowerPoint videos. They're really videos that encompass all of the 50 different lessons, of course. First one being market dominating position. So we go in there, we have this beautiful video. We can see who's going to be in our group. See, it's just Patrick and William and Kelvin. That's put my son in there as well to see, you know, how his email works and what that looks like. We're just testing some things. Here on view details, you see how I got there. We're in this lesson and we can go and see the member activities. We want to know, like Kelvin here has watched 36.5% of this video. Everyone else is not doing very well. These people have downloaded the pre-meeting Q&A. These people haven't. So here we can see, this is so cool, the people in the group, then what videos they've watched. Have they downloaded the pre-meeting questionnaire? Did they attend the meeting? Did they do the meeting worksheet? What did they get on the quiz? Did they download the post-meeting action steps? What profit impact percentage they think they'll get from implementing this lesson, and their overall engagement level. So it's such a cool little insight. You know who you can approach here to really go and, I guess, convince or upsell into private coaching, just so you see who's engaged. But you can also see who's low engaged, and you can go and encourage them to get engaged, and you know exactly how to encourage them there. So on this interface as well, a little explanation of what this group's about or what this presentation's about. Here you have a meeting PowerPoint. Maybe I'll just download that quick or just show it to you what it looks like. So these are, let me see this if this loads here. There we go. Just really nicely designed PowerPoint, only 10 slides. What we're trying to do here is give you there should be stuff that loads there when the actual PowerPoint loads. There we go. We'll give you just a summary. This helps you run your meeting. This is what we're going to cover today. We give you your agenda. You're going to talk about your wins in the group. Here's going to lesson review, and now we just have a couple slides of the lesson review. It all animates there. And then we go to Q&A and your top insights. And the next lesson, what's going to happen in the next lesson, and maybe some announcements. So we have that, but then we give you the game plan as well. So if you're looking like, how do I run this group coaching thing and how do I lead this lesson? We have pretty much your entire script given to you for the 1 hour lesson. Even like this is how I'd run it. I guess, Carl or other people might run it more freewheeling, but this just lets me, think, man, I don't have time to prepare. How am I going to lead a discussion with people? Maybe they're not very, active in the discussion. So I've got everything here to lead that discussion. I know when to click the PowerPoint, what questions to ask. You see the clicks all the way through, discuss wins from the members. All this highlights should be out of here. I don't know why we have that in there, but we can remove that. So when to click the PowerPoint, what to say during the PowerPoint, all the way through. And at the very end, in summary, and then we're going to solve challenges. You might do a mini jump start, ask for insights, review the next lesson, ask for referrals, maybe invite people to do more. We got those for you. And then the members have their worksheet and the pre-meeting questionnaire and the post-meeting action steps. They can download these. And when someone downloads it, you can tell they've downloaded it, so you know that. Under the coach meeting reminder, I think this was just, not sure if it's active yet. So you'll be able to edit this a little bit. You can turn it on and off. If it's on, it's going to turn green. And that'll remind you when the meeting is. But also you have 4 meeting reminders before the meeting and 2 after the meeting, or just sending your action steps. You can turn on these or off individually, and your meeting URLs go in there. They're coming from you. So, and all these emails across 50 lessons are specific to this lesson. So we're highlighting what this lesson's all about. So these are not just a template email that just goes out the same every time. Here you can take notes in here about maybe what you should talk about, maybe important points here. We go there, and then here, if you promise someone something, in the meeting, you can just say, here's things I need to do, and you'd save those. So I think that's, obviously this happens across 50 different lessons. So you can see it's been a fair bit of work to put all this together. And what else can we do here? We go back. I think apps integrations, I don't have any on my interface right now, but as a coach, I don't have any. But then I can add mail integrations. They're still working on these, and payment integrations. So if I'm going to add Stripe, then I can click this and it'll lead me through the whole integration of Stripe, so I can set up payments in my Stripe account or PayPal. So yeah, these guys are going to take a bit longer to do that, but that's what's coming. And if you don't do if you're not using GetResponse or ActiveCampaign, we just send the emails for you in here. So it's yeah, the emails come from the software, but on your behalf, and so that's pretty cool. So that's what we've got there. This description will change completely because it's really kind of useless here. So we're going to say, for example, this foundational strategies group starting July 10th, whatever, something like that. And then when you create a new group, you can create another foundational strategies group that might start July 18th. Maybe you have enough people to have 2 foundational groups. So kind of cool like that. You'll have a bunch of groups, and we should have a function where you'll see how much you'll get paid, how much you're getting paid on a monthly basis or annualized basis. So I'm not sure what this is about. Oh, these are all the modules in here. What we hope to do down stage 2 or stage 3 of the software is allow you to create your own modules and then create your own different groups. Maybe you're an expert in leadership or something, and you want to have a 6-week group on leadership, or a 12-week group on employee engagement. I was talking to one of our coaches today, and maybe a group around Gallup's 12 characteristics of employee engagement. It'd be a wonderful group to have. You could do things like that, leadership. You could do it on whatever vision and mission, whatever you want to build groups around. So There should be, I mean, that's the basics of it. I'm not sure if I have the, let me just freeze my screen a minute and see if I have the student interface, what that looks like. That'd be kind of cool to see that if it's
Yes.
running.
And what he means by that, this what you're looking at here is your interface. So Pat may or may not be able to pull it up, but what he's going to pull up is what is your client going to be looking at? Oh, there we go.
So this is the client interface. And this one looks like, well, a 50-week, no, 14. They've got too many in here. They have to remove some of those. But what's going to happen is the student will only be able to access the one that's live, and the future ones they'll be able to see what's coming, but they can't access it. So in here, this would be their interface, very similar. They see their action steps have done. There'll be a little bar up here when they connect to the meeting bar. Their resources are here. They can put their percentage impact, and of course that updates straight over to the coach. And they can take notes in this box, and they can print them and email them and all that. There's also a message center that they'll be able to write the coach, did you get this? They can reply to that. They can look at things. They can compose a new email. So adapt and throw files in there, things like that. So that'll go right to the coach as well. So you see we're really close, but man, it's just, I look at things and I go, oh, I want to change that, and we need that. We need to add that. And it's a little bit maddening in the terms of a creator manager side of things, but I tell you guys, I look at the code and what they're doing, and it's just immense. And then we keep coming in every week saying, oh, please change that. Please change that. Can you add that? Can you turn that green when it does this? And all those things. And they go, it wasn't in the original plan, but yes, we can do it. So that's a little bit about the group coaching. Carl, maybe you have some questions or maybe some others.
Yeah, actually, I did have. Okay, so actually what they're looking at right now, so these are different. Like if you want to set up a group on lead generation, you'd put them in the leads group, and then basically all the different modules are going to be around lead generation. And we've got one around profits. You see the last one is transactions and profits. That's probably pretty obvious. And then the other one is around conversion, which will be, the guy who says, look, I suck at sales, can't get a deal done. That's going to be the more conversions group. So as far as what you're looking at there, can you go to the, where their income is calculated, like where I think we have $10 there as a default?
Yeah, that's You'll be able to put your price and everything as you start a group. So do you want us to charge $4.97 for the group, or you want to charge $197 a month, or $97 one time, or whatever you want, or give it away for free? I mean, you could do that as well. So.
Yeah. And where I remember last time you took us to where that was all calculated, did you not? Where you could see the members. I think you had your son in there.
Let me see where that was. That was probably in this
action.
No, it could be in here. Yeah.
Oh, okay, it was here, but it didn't have the amount. Okay, all right. I was thinking that had, so Pat was paying you 97, Buddy was paying you 10. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Okay, awesome. But no, that looks fantastic. And again, guys, have a look at that on the right-hand side. Like when somebody's super engaged with your material, here's what I would do. Used to do this with my membership sites all the time. So like, let's say Pat's a member. It's my group coaching and Pat's a member. He's super engaged. I would have a look at Pat. Okay, he's a chiropractor, lives in, say he's in Kelowna where I am, and his business is doing X. And we had a couple of emails. I would intentionally send him an email and just say, what I wouldn't say is that, hey, you're super engaged with my content. I wouldn't say that because it's a little bit, how you doing? What I would do is send an email, say, hey, Pat, I stumbled on this article, and then I would link it, right? Something to do with chiropractor cracks 7 figures by creating weekly back talk seminars, right? Whatever. I would send it to say, hey, how's everything going? Appreciate you being a member. Not selling, no call to action, no nothing. Just a little, hey man, was thinking about you. Much like on social media, you start a little bit of a conversation via email. Whatever they ask you immediately would lead me to say, look, I want to understand your question, or I want to understand the situation at the best level I can. Look, I'm super busy, but let me create a 15-minute block here for us to chat, and you can tell me more so that I can understand how to best direct you. Pat says, oh, wow, cool. He jumps on my calendar. I would send him a link for 30. I would tell him 15 minutes, and I would send him a link for 30, by the way, a little hack, because now I got 30 minutes to sell him. And then he's there for 50, and then I get him on the horn, and basically no matter what his problem is, no matter what I'm solving, it's normally the solution is going to be a higher end program. So I just took Pat from a $500 group member on my 12-week course, and I plugged him into $19.97 a month, one-to-one coaching as an example. So this is where, and then if somebody's not engaged, don't think that that's a good thing, because they're going to cancel soon, right? So try find a way to get them engaged with 100% certainty with a similar kind of track. So anyway, so that's cool, but I think that's awesome what you guys are looking at there in terms of you can see what kind of the level of activity that they're up to. Oh, there we go. That's what I was looking for right there. So
yeah,
so there we go. Very cool. Very cool.
I think we've got something here, or at least the goal is, I can look at this group member, and then I look at what's going to happen here. With just this group member, we're going to see all the lessons he's been part of and how he's been engaged through all the lessons. So the first one that I showed you showed market dominating position, and we see all the members in this group, but just in this lesson. And the other one I showed you, it's kind of cool. There's so many features here, I keep forgetting what's there, but we can look at just how Patrick David Bell is doing, and you see him across all these lessons and see his overall engagement over all the lessons and what he's watched, what he hasn't watched. And so before you meet with this guy, you'd probably want to come and see who is this guy overall, and how's he done, and what's he engaged on. If he hasn't watched the video and he hasn't attended the meeting, he's probably not going to get market dominating position. So it gives you so much insight into who this client or this group client is and how to move them to the next level. So I'm really excited about this feature. I think it's really cool.
Love it. Amazing. So there you go, folks. That's what's this is what's going to be dropped very, very shortly and be available for you guys if you want it. And in the meantime, let me grab a few questions. And again, if you guys got a question, either plunk your hand up, put your hand up, or chuck a question in the box and we can read it out. Who do we got here? Looks like Mark's. Mark, I'm coming for you. You are self-muted, my friend. Go to unmute yourself, Mark. I want to say hello. Mr. Mark Reed. Okay, maybe he's being shy. Okay, Mark, you're if you could, maybe you can't find your mute button. But oh, there we go. Mark, hey, you're live. What's going on, buddy? Oh, we lost you.
It looks great. I'm looking forward to it.
Mark, you're live, bud.
Yeah.
What do you think? Look good?
It looks real good. I'm anxious to get to the point of engaging it. Amazed with all the work that Pat and his team have gone through to put it together. It's a lot of work to design a website.
Yep.
At this level.
Yeah, cool. And any questions for us? Did you have a question?
No, I threw in earlier. I didn't have the tilde on it, but the Mexican mole is, if you've never eaten Mexican food with mole, it's a great surprising meal. That is chocolate sauce. It's very spicy. Can be very spicy.
Oh, really? Oh, okay, there we go. Doesn't make you break out into a rash, does it?
No, I never had that result, but you ought to go into a very good Mexican restaurant sometime and try it. It's quite a lot goes into really good quality mole, but
Right.
no, the
Is
group
it good?
coaching was great.
Is it amazing?
It can be.
Mexican
I don't
mole?
like it as much as some others, but
Cool.
it can be amazing. No, I like the setup that you guys have put together for this, and you are trying to make it nearly I don't know, like not quite falling off the log, but easy. On the other hand, I'm sure most everybody out there listening will agree. Anything worthwhile is worth the work and the trouble to go through to learn how to master something. And if it's too easy, people aren't going to take it seriously.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Awesome. And thanks, Mark. Appreciate that feedback, buddy. It's amazing.
Thank you.
All right. Can I put you back on mute? There you go, folks. Mexican mole. You heard it here first. Go get yourself some. Hopefully you're not allergic to it. Poor Pat. Okay. Who do we got?
Away from
Wenda. What's that? You're staying away?
I'm staying away from Mexican mole. Sorry.
After your Kenyan chocolate experience. Yeah, no thanks. All right, okay, Gwenda Joyce. Gwenda, and you're self-muted. You got to unmute yourself, Malone. There we go. Gwenda, hey, you're live.
Hi. Thanks for that. I'm wondering if you could just take me back to the beginning and walk me through how I would set up a new client in the PAS.
Oh, sure, yeah. A new client
in group.
In the PAS.
You don't mean the group coaching. You mean the
the
like
individual.
Jumpstart 12.
I'm just starting on this. I haven't used it yet, so I thought starting at the beginning would be really helpful.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, Gwenda, just as a note, when you click on training here, and you'll see software training, just walk through this and you'll see all these logging into the dashboard, creating a new company. So just kind of watch one of these videos, and then once you've watched one video, just come back in the software here and just follow what we did. I think it's quite easy to follow, but very basically, yeah, just really quickly, because I don't want you to be overwhelmed. If you look at the system, you go, oh my gosh, it's so huge. And I promise you, in probably the hour of the training and then some of the onboarding of the role play session with Holly or Wally or someone like that you'll go, oh, okay, I get this, and it's just going to transform your confidence to take people through this. But just imagine here, you click new company, you just click a company, you create a company name, and you put their name in there and their title and their email address.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the only ones required. You can add more if you like, and you submit that. So I've got, let me just call this whatever that garbage text company is called.
Mm-hmm.
So now they're here. So now I'm going to create a new assessment. So I'm going to click on that. I can go in and I select the company right there, garbage text company.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to select module set, and you'll have the top 3. So maybe Jumpstart 12. The currency, if you're using dollars, I just use Australian dollars because it's the same dollar symbol. I don't bother scrolling all the way to find US or whatever. It's just dollars. But if, I did a assessment for someone here in shillings and Kenyan shillings, you could use that, whatever. And then you give it a name, and I would say LKJSD company, July 1, 2021. Profit Jumpstart 12, or just Jumpstart 12. So you want to give it a really descriptive name, and I'll show you why in a minute. So I'm going to submit that. So now you have all these lists, and if you start getting a lot of assessments in here, you're going to start going through and go, which one belongs to that company? And so what I've done here is now I just look at that one. It's at the bottom of that scroll list, and it's right there. So I know I can click on it. And you click on that link, and it brings you into the assessment dashboard. So, yeah. So that's kind of how you get started. But like I said, everything is right here. Well, let's say 95% of it is all right here. And some things, we talk about on this Q&A call, and maybe how to manage ROI or how to close a sale, things like that. We're always talking about here. So, and you are welcome to come back and ask any question anytime about anything about the software here, and we'll just do our best to guide you through it. So don't feel shy.
Okay, well, thank you. I have actually gone through those videos,
Good.
but I know just from my learning style, when I get walked through the processes, I can learn it better. So I appreciate what you just did. And I probably didn't hear it 5 times, but I'll get it.
No, sure. Have you booked in for the role? Did I miss that maybe? Have you booked in for role play, Gwenda?
No, I'm not. I don't feel like I'm ready to do that yet. You mean for the interview role play? The book role play?
The software.
No, prior to that, just you're going to meet a business owner, and then you're going to go through the Profit Acceleration software and try to convert them into a higher end coaching client. We've got a role play for basically that process.
Mm-hmm.
You should delve into that.
I think
Pat, maybe could you? What it comes later? Do you think she'll be organically sent that way?
Yeah, I think just let it go out as part of the process, and or else we'll cause some confusion.
I'll get there when I get there. That's what you're saying.
You'll get there for sure, 100%. And I think the whole thing with coaches coming on board is if they delay in doing what they should be doing, then they just delay in right through the whole process. But if they're on top of everything they do, then it just happens pretty quick. So yeah, it's just you hang on for the ride. There's a lot coming at you.
Yeah. Well, my next thing will be to give that initial interview, to give the book interview, and then the PAS. So I still have a ways to go, but I will get there.
Good
job. That's the right attitude we're looking for, Gwenda. Good stuff.
And these
all right, what do you think?
Links are in the drive. Is that it? They're in the drive folder. So is that how I access them, or do I go through the PAS software?
The links?
The links for the next steps that I need to do.
I'm not sure what you were given when you came on board, so just go back to.
Yeah, Walt. Yeah. Did you go through Walt's process, Quinn?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Okay. So if you follow the emails from each step, it guides you on what to do next and who to book with. Have you worked with Big Al? Have you worked with Alan or any of the guys?
I haven't worked with Alan yet, so that's probably the next.
You
thing.
follow the emails; they're going to guide you through that. Yeah. So just follow the emails from Walt, basically in a nutshell. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Beautiful. All right, Gwenda, thank you so much. I'm going to put you back on mute. All right, what else do we got here? I thought we had a hand up, but it disappeared. What are we going to here? Sorry, guys, if I'm missing you here. I apologize. But, there we go. Irene, we are coming for you. Irene has her hand up. You're self-muted, Irene, if you could unmute yourself. Hand raised for 9 minutes.
Sorry about that.
There you go.
All right.
Irene.
I've had 2 or 3 people not show up for the PAS session recently, and I'm thinking about charging a fee, and then returning it to them if they show up, because my time is valuable and I'm getting annoyed. I think sometimes when you do something for free, people don't value it, and I'm wondering if that's common and what people do in those situations.
Okay, I'd have a different. So walk me through. How did you meet them? What was said? Like, walk me, because it's normally. Let me just tell you, Irene, it's a positioning issue. I would imagine, but walk me through the dynamic of the relationship that led to the appointment that they didn't show up for.
One of them was from a webinar, and I did the Jumpstart 12, and I hadn't finished it, so I said I would do another session to finish it. And I didn't think the person was a good prospect, but another person was a lawyer in my business group, and he said, "Oh, I didn't have it in my calendar." But I know a lawyer values each hour a lot, so I'm too happy about that. He's a great guy, and there was a third person. I don't remember who the third person was, but it wasn't happening in the beginning, and I didn't know, did I change something? Is it summer coming? Like, what's going on here? And this can't continue.
Yeah. Look, and agreed, and it's good that you're addressing it. I don't know that, look, charging there's just so many different ways of looking at it. It's very gray versus black and white. One of the ways you can do it is that, okay, well, I charge $497, for the process, but you'll pay me up front. But if you decide to work with me, I will use that $497 towards my help over the next 12 months. Or again, you know how, it's $497 and then you take a $100 deposit, and then they pay, the balance when they get there. But of course, you don't worry about the balance because you'll sell them into presumably your program's roughly $2,000 a month. So you just say, well, look, I'm going to waive the $397 balance, and you're going to start paying $1997 now for the coaching. The problem you're going to have lower conversions, but you'll have a higher turn up rate. My instincts are to say, look, 3 is not a body of work that we can really, we need to get, more booked in and then see. But it's just a positioning of, what were you saying to them when they show up? Sell me on showing up to your meeting. What did you say to the lawyer? Like, what did he think that he was coming for? Like, going to close me, kind of sell me on that.
We had done part of the Jumpstart 12. He really liked it. And then this was finished. I was going to get him another session to finish it because he's a good referral source for me. And he might want to hire me as a coach. So,
so
that was a while ago that we had done the one. I was even thinking of saying, it's $200 to hold your spot in my calendar. And if you show up, I will refund you that money. And if you don't show up, that's my time, cost for my time. So that's
okay.
That.
Okay, so how are you going to get? So let's walk. You're going to be at the networking function. How are you going to get the lawyer to pay you the $200? You're going to what's that dynamic going to look like?
Well, no, this already happened. I'm talking about future people. I'll say, look.
No, I know. Yeah, no, I know, but I'm just pretend like the lawyer of the future.
Oh, I don't know. I usually have my billing person do my bills once a month for me. So I guess I would have to maybe send them a link to sign up for the session. I'd have to maybe on Stripe or something, and then I refund. I don't know, actually.
Yeah. So okay, but let me just, because you see, like, okay, if you send them an email and say, hey, pay my $200 for my appointment to hold my calendar, you just created. Do you know what I mean? Like, you see how they could fall off, not click the link, not pay the $200, therefore the appointment doesn't happen. And then the other option, which will bring a higher conversion, is that I've got my phone and you're gonna pay me on the spot. But when I meet you and we haven't done anything yet, and I'm asking you to whip your credit card out, and we're standing in a room of 9 other people, it can be a little bit awkward, if you know what I mean. And then it's like, I don't, it just, so So again, you see how it's not only about, look, the process will work and the conversions will go up, but the dynamic, what you really got to do is get more forceful about the fact that they need to show up. And the reason they need to show up is not for you, but for them, because at the end of that meeting, you're going to have a roadmap designed for them that's totally going to transform the next 12 months of their business. And they're going to understand how these small little incremental improvements in these 12 key areas that you know of, but they don't. How would we take a tiny little screwdriver with a little twist and a little twist and a little twist and a little twist in, 4 to 12, and ideally all 12 areas? It's going to revolutionize the way that you currently do business. Because right now, if you're the 98%, you're trying to get big, as in you're trying to hit $1 million a year, and you're not concentrating on you're not concentrating on some very important math. That what happens is you get to $1 million and you got an unprofitable business. Like, imagine how silly it would be to have a $500,000 business with X margins. Let's say they're 20%. And then you went from 500,000 to $1 million. You accomplished your goal, but you got there and now you only have 11.5% margins.
Mm-hmm.
It would be a horrible roadmap to follow. But unfortunately, it's ridiculously common. But when we sit down and we go through, when we get together next week, I'm going to provide a roadmap to make sure that will never happen to you. And you'll follow the roadmap of Ferrari, Gucci, Rolex, Apple, and the most popular brands in the world. And they all have one thing in common. And I'm going to share that with you on Tuesday when we get together.
Okay.
Yes, what I really did is I hope to make you curious as how I showed you my preeminence. I stood against, don't build a business at $1 million and be unprofitable. So I stood against instead of started singing Kumbaya and telling you how excited I am. And then I made you super curious that when we get together on Tuesday, I'm going to provide some solutions that you currently don't know that I do, that are going to make a massive impact really, really quickly. And you're going to be able to implement them immediately as I walk in the door, because they're not rocket science. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. And then you're giving them the roadmap at the end of the session?
And then, you say, I say this, I could either give you the roadmap, but there's no rocket science that we went through, upsell, downsell, cross-sell. Just walk into McDonald's and you'll know exactly what to do. But the reality is you're not doing it, because it's not just about an upsell. It's about it's something hard with something soft. So I sell you a computer, which is hard. I want to create something soft, and that would be an extended warranty, right? Where if you leave them the roadmap, they're not going to have the solution. So what I really think we should do, Dave, the lawyer, let me go home, let me refine the roadmap, let me expand upon the roadmap. Let's start working together. It's going to cost you $19.97 a month to work with me. That's $24,000 a year. But hit the ROI tab, and the numbers that we just went through, we just found you $126,408 in newfound profit if we make the impacts that we talked about today that I think are totally realistic. What do you think? Do you think a bit of a kick in the pants and a little bit of accountability might be a good idea? And I would have pre-framed that over the course of the meeting, so that when I said that, he'd say, yes, please. And that's the way I do it. But if he says no, I print out the roadmap and send it over to him and say, God bless him. And that's it. See you later.
Okay. Thank you.
Because that's what you offered, right? Does that help? I hope
it really does.
Rather than try to get them to whip out their credit cards, which just in multiple levels just creates a serious problem with your conversions that you're trying to fix. I would be miles more compelling that if we get together and we rip through their business, that we're going to transform this bad boy really, really quickly. And they should take me up on the offer to rip their business through. And I would also add the 497 million weighted algorithmic sequences would play a part in that as well. Because I mean, what the hell is that going to do?
Thank you. No, I was using different languaging, and I see what you're saying now to build more curiosity. I like it. Thank you.
Yeah. What language were you using? Just for the benefit of everybody, because I'd like to hear. How would it be different than what I was saying? Would you say?
I'm just saying I can find you a minimum of $30,000 in hidden or untapped revenue in 45 minutes. That's pretty much what I was saying. And if I have a conversation, I say, we're going to put you through our software. It's absolutely amazing, and you're going to love this session. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Okay, you're going to love that session. That's an example of, again, yeah, I'm definitely not, you know what I mean? Like I'm not using that kind of language because I don't think it's strong enough. So here would be an example, Irene, for you, but everybody listening, pen and paper and write down 5 things that you stand against, right? Because let me just expand. What you just said, I want you to now back it up with stories, examples, and standing against, basically, right? Because now you got their interest. Holy smokes, 30 grand in 30 minutes or whatever you just said. Like, that sounds good. But now back it up a little bit, right? So, write down some things that you stand against, right? So as an example, building $1 million. I sit with people all the time and they all tell me they want to hit $1 million. Like, if I had $1 for every business owner that told me they wanted to hit $1 million, I'd be a very rich woman. I'd never need to work again for the rest of my life. The problem is they get their goal, hit $1 million, and then find that they're ridiculously unprofitable. And that at $500,000 gross, they were actually profiting more than they were at $1 million. And don't think that that's unique in any way, shape, or form. It's a huge mistake that people make. I could say that. Or, come up with your own examples of things that you stand against that they're making a huge mistake on. I would then also write down a few examples. Okay, so as an example, we're working with a company. They made $100,000 profit the year before we sat down with them. They had 20% margins. We sat down over the space of a couple hours. We took them from 20% margins to 30% margins. They made $100,000 profit. We rolled up 20 to 30 to the average business owner. That's 10%. 10% of 100,000 is what? 10 grand. And then watch for them to agree, shake their head and say, oh yeah, and say, see, what really happened, it's not 20 to 30 is a 50% increase, not 10. And then continue 20 because they're still confused. 20 to 22 is 10. 20 to 24 is 20. 20 to 26 is 30. So it's actually a 50% improvement. In 2 hours, we put $50,000 into their bank account, not top line revenue, but bottom line profit. He reached over, he wanted to kiss me on the lips because he was so happy, joking around, but like he was so happy that he didn't want to work with me. He wanted to, he didn't want me to leave his office because he was holding on to my foot, kind of thing, right? Story, you get the idea. And by the way, and you just disrupted him because he's like, holy smokes, 20 to 30. Yeah, I thought that was 10. That's 50. Oh my gosh. She knows something that I don't know. So write a few examples like that. And then definitely some stories of working with a business owner. They were trying to hit $1 million. I stepped in. Here's the mistakes that they were making. Conflict. And then here's where we ended up. So in like 5 minutes, spit out a few of those things. The more you do it, the better you're going to get at. So the 30 grand is going to have so much more impact when you back it up with things that you stand against, examples and stories, that they won't want to miss that meeting for anything. So that help?
Yes, thank you. Yes, it's very specific.
Hey, Pat, could I ask you, would you expand upon anything I said? What do you think?
You see my screen?
Wait a second.
There we go. I love it. Yeah.
So what I've done in the past, I want to, in my follow-up email to just confirm the meeting time, I'll send this image as a little humorous. I want to insert some humor. And I just say, Joe, as a reminder, your time is valuable and so is mine. If you wish to cancel or reschedule, all I ask is the professional courtesy to do so with sufficient notice. And just throwing that a little bit in there, and it just kind of shows, I'm not like just straight jacket kind of guy. I want to have some fun as well, but I'm also expecting them to be professional. And so I like what Carl said. I think the way you position that, you want to be real careful about saying right up front, you're charging for that, and you kind of come across on the wrong side of the desk when you do that. But if you can build it, you sell the meeting, they should be salivating to meet you. But you've also got a professional courtesy reminder as well. So.
Okay.
Irene, let me just ask you, like off the top of your head, could you think of a story that you could use or something that you could stand against to kind of make that 30K promise that you gave them more impactful?
Yeah, I haven't been doing this very long in LPW, but I have been writing some very compelling marketing with the clients I do have. And now when they start using the tactical marketing, they're going to be getting so much more bang for their time. And it's just completely different. We just completely changed their marketing because they weren't getting their goals.
Okay. If you could take what you just said and turn it into a story with conflict, like every story, right? Just Seinfeld, Breaking Bad, every movie you've ever watched has got conflict right smack dab in the middle. Every episode of Three's Company back in the day, which I love that show, it's got conflict. So say what you just said, how they were super tactical. I stepped in and was highly strategic. Here's the slight adjustment we made. Here, if I wouldn't have made that adjustment, here's what would have happened. And and here's the result. And then just say it as a story right there.
Okay, great.
You follow? But just again, but difference between the story and what you said, you were just kind of giving like facts and figures, right? Like they were just making, they were strategic and then we were tactical, and it made a huge improvement, right? Again, just get more detailed in your story, and then continue to tell the story over and over and over again. Like Tony Robbins does, it's the same story time and time again. So you get stupidly good at saying it in a really tight, really quickly. So there you go. I hope that's helpful, Irene.
Yes, thank you both very much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
So welcome.
There we go. All right, Q Bananas. Who else do we got here? The question. Had a couple, guys, I think I may have lowered all the hands, and I apologize. So if you had your hand up, please re-raise it, and I will grab you. In the meantime, there we go. Larry, you're coming, bud. You're self-muted, my friend, Larry.
Yep, I see the
there
button.
He is. Hey, Larry, how you doing?
Pretty good. I never knew where that button was before. Now I see where it is.
There you go.
Okay.
Q&A. What's your question, boss?
A couple questions. What are they going to charge to add this to my software, the group coach? That was one.
Oh, sorry, Larry, I missed it. Sorry, Pat's.
Okay, for the group.
Lost Pat, but that's okay. For what? Sorry.
Yeah, for the group coaching added to your software, what would be the charge for them to add that?
Oh, we're not. It's going to be. You're going to find out very shortly. It's going to be insanely reasonable. Don't worry about that. But the answer is I don't have an answer right now. We're still pulling this all together. But it will be announced in roughly 3 weeks from now. And it'll start on Ask the Expert call, and then you'll get a series of emails about it, etc. So that's the answer to that. That's no answer. How'd I do?
Got a couple other questions. One is, where would be the path to find like templates of landing pages to use? I looked through the,
Yep. For what's the goal? Is this for you? Is this for a client? Who's that for?
That's for me to do.
Yep. Okay. Well, I got to tell you, we just had a very long call about exactly this, an internal one. Number one, you need a hook. What's your hook? You probably don't have it, and that's okay. I can help you here quickly, but what's the hook? If you want to drive traffic online, you need a hook. That's a starting point. So what would your hook be?
Well, it'd probably be tied to, $10,000 or $30,000 in 45 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. Good answer, by the way. And I'll just for you, Larry, but the benefit of everybody listening. So I used to drive a lot of traffic online when this was back 2008-ish. Here are a couple headlines that work really well, or a couple hooks that work very well. How I earned $187,000 in my first 9 months online as a coach. And then I built a database of number of, tens of thousands of coaches. And then I followed that up because not everybody bought, obviously. How I generated 250 hot new coaching leads in 90 days using Google. Another one that I've done is how I built a $5.5 million coaching business. So those, I'm just trying to give you a framework for hooks. And by the way, the hook that you just said again, so how I find any business owner 100 grand in 45 minutes without them spending an extra dollar on marketing or advertising, that would be an example of a hook. But you might want to adjust that a little bit. We heard Irene earlier, she said 30,000. It used to be 10,000, but the reality is 10,000. We could do that in about 2 minutes, not 45. So it became $100,000 pretty quickly. And I just feel like that's that much more impactful. And provided you've got the story, the examples, and you know what I mean? Like you don't stop there, but then you explain, people will go, wow, I can now see how easy that could be. So that's the answer to your landing page is you need a hook. And then you're going to reinforce that with a few bullet points underneath it, right? Like how to generate leads, how to convert, leads that you find online or phone calls into clients. Once you get the clients, we're going to help you sell them more. And not only, the next point is we're going to help you on profitability, not only going to help you with, top line revenue, but we're going to help you very importantly on bottom line profits, which often, goes unnoticed. And then you're going to have an opt-in for a book, a webinar, a one-to-one call, a consultation, what have you. Then next you need a call to action is really what I'm getting at. So what's your call to action? You probably don't know, but what's your call to action at this moment in time?
So it'd be whatever the free report is, that would be the call to action. And then,
yep. I do your book. Your book will be a better one because it also builds preeminence. So do that. But if you don't, there's multiple that you could do. A webinar would be great, by the way, but you can just do an opt-in for your book. So that's the answer. You're asking about a landing page. You need a hook. You need a call to action. And then basically you're off to the races. Your landing page, you don't want it to be complicated. You don't need it to be super sexy. It's better if it looks like you want a graphic designer do it versus, in a Word document, but don't think that you need to have it super flashy. We've proven that less, not super flashy will convert from flashy. So there you go. Does that help?
Yeah, I just thought maybe they had some templates as far as examples or whatever for other than what's in my website.
Okay, well, we've got lots of that kind of stuff. If you just go into the business coaching turnkey in your e-learning system, you're going to see some examples of some good marketing material right there.
Business
feel comfortable. A landing page, an ad, a business card. It's just words. So it's just a landing page to a business card to anything else. It's just words. So you just take the words and you put them on a landing page, and then you take those words off and you put them on a business card. And you take those words off and put them on an ad that goes in a magazine. It's all the same thing.
Okay.
So you want to be looking at when you look at a full turnkey, I just want you to you're basically looking at words on a piece of paper. The words are what matter. And on a website, it's just words on a website. The words matter, the website doesn't. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay. When you're picking like the 30,000 that she did, or 10,000 or the 100,000, isn't that a little bit depend on your ideal client or who you're marketing to, whether they're 500,000?
100%. Yep. So absolutely. And who are you marketing to? Do you know? What's the plan?
Well, I'm thinking, from businesses doing $500,000 to $1.5 million, but determining, it's how to determine your people that the size of your people that you're marketing to, in your when you're trying to find your list.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Totally. At this stage, Larry, because obviously you're just working all this out, here's what you want to do. You want to go to your local community and see who's putting their hand up to grow their business. Those are people that have bought memberships at the chamber, people that have bought memberships to BNI, people who are buying advertising in local magazines, local newspapers, online directories, etc. And those are the people at this stage that are are going to be your hottest market. They've already whipped out their credit card to try and grow. These are the guys that you're going to be able to help the quickest, and are going to give you their credit card also.
But they're
That's who you want to go to.
They're going to be a variety of. I mean, you really don't know what size they are, though.
Yeah. So just pick a number. Any number above 10 grand is going to impress them. I'm going to tell you that. Don't worry about that. You know, I say 100 grand in 45 minutes without spending $1 on marketing or advertising. Those are the numbers that I personally use.
Okay.
You know, so, and just, yeah, and by the way, you don't want to just do a 45-minute call. And actually, this also goes to Irene earlier. I'd be booking 90 minutes for those calls, like for the consultation, because she ran at a time with the lawyer. One of the reasons she ran at a time is because, like, you know, it was time to, like, she ran at a time when it was time to close, and then the lawyer didn't show up to the next meeting. Book 90 minutes, not just 45 minutes. And the way you frame that is that I'll find you the 100 grand in 45 minutes, but I guarantee you're going to have a bunch of questions and I want to be able to answer them all. So let's book 90 minutes on our calendar, make sure that we can get through everything.
Okay. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So Larry, just pick it out. Yeah, don't overthink it. Just come up with your number, you know, 30, 50, 75, 100, whatever number, and it's going to impress them. Right.
Okay.
So, and you're right. And the guys who are advertising are going to roughly be $500,000 companies. Expect that. 96% don't make it to $1 million, right? So a lot of those guys are doing roughly 500 gross. And they want to, importantly, what I said to Irene, I want to make sure everybody hears this, not just you, but they're at 500 trying to get to $1 million. And that is a stupid goal, because they're going to do it, spend a bunch of money getting there, and find out once they get there that they're now less profitable than they were at $500,000. And that's a gross exaggeration, but they go there with, you know, Irene mentioned something strategic versus tactical. They go in a very tactical way, not in a strategic way. And one of the strategies, one of the strategic outcomes they should be looking for is to get to $1 million, but maintain those 20% margins. They're not thinking like that with $1 million, like a 98.5% probability, unless they're accountants. They're not thinking like that. They're trying to get to $1 million, and it's a stupid goal. And that's where you're going to immediately be able to impact their level of thinking.
Okay. Yeah, I like that too. Yes. And I'm really.
Got another question? That was great. Anything else?
Overthinking.
Yeah, just do over. You know, that's where all your best thinking will be done with action. You know what I mean? And then you'll learn on the fly. Like, rather than, you know, is it like right now you're asking, is 30, 50, or 100 a better number? Yeah. The answer is that they're all going to work. But what's the one that comes out of your mouth and sounds right? What is your old football number? 50? And then you could do 50 grand in, 50 minutes as an example, right? So now you've got a little bit of a story, and you could talk about high school football and bring that into some of your examples and whatnot.
Okay.
You follow?
Yep. Thank you very much.
Do. Yeah, do. Did you have another question? You good?
No, I'm good.
Awesome. And Pat, did we get you back?
Yeah, I'm back again. Sorry, I missed a lot of that, but yeah.
Oh, good.
Good.
Oh, good. Now I got your Skype. I was like, oh no, we lost Pat. All good. Okay, so, guys, any other questions? Raise your hands or plunk your question in the box. Where are we here? Oh, we're actually over the hour anyways. So I'll tell you what, folks, if you've got a question, maybe bring it to next Tuesday. Pat, anything here before we go, bud?
No, I just wish everyone the best over the weekend, and it's July 4th weekend. So take a little time and live life with balance. Actually, you know what, Pat, sorry to interrupt you. I'm just going to open up Dave, and I want him to speak to maybe a little bit. Hey, Dave, Canada Day, by the way. So fellow Canuck here. We can all, there you go. Dave, were you listening to
conversation I just had, and I'd like to get your feedback on it, if any.
Well, I guess my only thought is just call people. So, I mean,
Okay,
just
so what,
be active.
like Larry's
Like
in
I
his head a
see
little bit. If, hang on, sorry, Dave, can I just ask you a direct question on behalf of Larry? Like, do you think, does it matter if he says 30K, 50K, 75K, or 100K? Or what's your interpretation? Like, what would you say to that?
Depends on the size of the business. Because
Yeah, but he doesn't know. He's going to be going to advertising. He's not going to know the size of their company. He wants to have a framework. What would you?
One of the first questions I ask is, how many people do you have working for you? And that'll give you a really good idea. If they say 2 or they say 50, you'll have an idea. So if they have 2, I would never say 100,000. I would say 40. If they have 50, I'm probably going to say $250,000. You know, like if you go in and that's what some of our stuff, and that's fine. I know that's the majority of our customers. Like some of the stuff we have in promoting a customer to reach $1 million in sales. And I love you're bang on right about the profit aspect of it, because I'm dealing with 2 clients. One of them had both of them had $5.5 million in sales. One had 500,000 in before tax dollars, and one of them had like 60,000. Now we've really turned the 60,000 guy around, and the 500,000 guy, we're doing well there. But if you say to someone who's doing, you know, we can't show some of our promotional videos to a $6 million business. I just stay away from that. So it depends totally on the size of the business. But yeah, the 100,000, like you said before, 10,000 is 2 minutes.
Yeah. So okay, just and again, and just so everybody's listening, lots of don't know, what are your revenues going to be roughly this month, Dave, for your coaching?
I just built it out yesterday, 54,000.
50, there you go. Okay, so Dave knows what he's doing. So Dave, just real quick, without we need to get going here, but you call folks, you ask them a series of questions that helps you establish what that number should look like. Give us a real quick 1 through 5, and really speaking directly to Larry here if you could, but for everybody, but give us 1 through 5.
How big is your staff? And
you pick up the phone, you cold call him, correct? 100% cold.
I cold call him on behalf of the COVID task force. And I ask, the first question I ask is, how did COVID affect your business? And I already know, because I know I'm calling a business that's in construction or something like that they've done well. And I don't usually target clothing stores. So how did COVID affect your business, positively or negatively? And they say that they, you know, go from there. And, you know, and then my next question is, what's your goals for this year? And if you don't mind me asking, how many people do you have working for you? And that's basically the only 3 questions I ask. And then we go, and then I'll promote, and I'll throw the number at them based on how many people they have. If they typically say, I don't know if this is exactly right, that you're going to do 100,000 in business for every employee. So if you're only 2 employees, you're probably only a $200,000 to $250,000 business. If you have 50 employees, you're probably 5 million plus. So that gives me an indication as what I'm going to say as far as, you know, we have a program. I take you through a software system that we can find you, if it's $500,000, a minimum of $500,000. If it's $5 million business, sorry, we're going to find you $1 million of $500,000 in new business. And some of it's going to be at 100% profit, because when you take cut costs and increasing pricings, it's 100%.
Yep. Yeah. Okay, cool. And then you take them too. So give us the next step.
Next step, if they're interested, then we take them through the software. And I only
do the consultation.
12. I don't want to complicate it. Like,
beautiful.
I started doing.
Yep. Is that 1 hour? Sorry, can I just? How long is that meeting?
90 minutes.
90 minutes. Boom. Okay. And then at the end of that meeting, you close them on.
First session, we're actually going to start the process, is what I tell them. And then the first session is going to be free, because we're going to learn a lot and we're educating the first process. You know, let's start the process. The first session's free. If you're interested, we'll go from there.
Cool. Love it. And then at the end of that, you close them. You say, okay, so do you want some help or not? And if they say not, it's catch you later, which seldom happens. And if they say yes, you introduce my coaching is X, and you're $1 to $5 grand a month, right?
I give them 3 options as to what they want. You know, always the 3 box theory. Small box.
There we go.
Middle box, large box, and the large box. I've never ever sold it because we make it look like the middle box is the right one to do. Just like they do when they sell sodas at the movie theater. They don't sell small, medium, and large. They sell medium, large, and supersized. Most people buy large.
There we go. Love it. Okay, cool. Dave, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
No problem.
And happy Canada Day, bud.
Absolutely.
All right. So guys, hopefully that's helpful. But just again, Dave, you see, like Dave literally called. Actually, I believe that Dave, if you haven't booked in for Virtual Business Coaching Mastery and you want to see in detail what he's doing, basically that will be there. Dave presented at the last one. I'm not sure if he's booked to talk at this one, but that's the kind of step-by-step. That script that he's talking about, the COVID relief, is right. You just go into your scripts in the resource section of the Profit Acceleration software. The script that he's describing, the COVID recovery, to-do task force, it's all right there, ready to go for you. So he uses our process, and it's ready to roll. There we go. Lead generation scripts. Boom. So anyway, so there you go. Okay, guys, we've kept you a little bit over. Appreciate it. Hope you're good. Get your butts back here on Tuesday. Hopefully you have lots of questions. We appreciate you guys. And like Pat said, for those in America, enjoy the long weekend, July 4th. Very cool. Very cool. So what do you think, Pat? Any words of wisdom here before we go? You know, good?
That's it. Have a great weekend, guys. We'll see you next week.